Hi, this is Wayne Williams of Speaking of Horses, and we're proud to be partnering with NWHorse Source, bringing you videos about the horse industry through our association with this publication, NWHorse Source. So, let's watch our current video of the week. Well, welcome. We are live on Speaking of Horses, and we're also recording this interview, but we're here for our final day of the Northwest Horse Fair. We're in Albany, Oregon, an hour or so south of Portland. Yes. Gorgeous area. And this morning, we've had Aton with Cowboy Dressage. We'd had Ray Lockard on the show on Friday morning with general training and his horsemanship practices, but not to be forgotten, we have dressage this morning, and we have one of the best around. We have Dolly Hannon with us. And looking at your bio again, I mean, you've competed for many years at Grand Prix level in dressage. You're also a judge, a certified instructor for judges, for students. You've not only helped a lot of adults, but you've worked a lot with the kids, bringing them on into dressage. So briefly, just give everybody a little bit of background on your history.
Okay, well, I was born in Westport, Connecticut, and went to Colorado to go to Colorado State University. Ended up staying there, got married. I received a degree in horticulture with a minor in animal science, and started taking riding lessons for gym credit, just for fun, because I didn't quite click with some of the other gym programs. And I met my first dressage instructor, Melinda Weatherford, at that time, and was hooked. So I worked in the horticultural field for a couple of years, got married, and started working in the horse industry full-time a couple of years later. My first job was for Janet Foy, who's a very well-known international dressage judge, and worked at the same barn in Golden, Colorado, Table Mountain Ranch, for over 30 years. I now train out of a barn called Legacy Valley Farm, which is just a few minutes away from Table Mountain, and I've stayed in that Golden, Arvada area the whole time. And it's been a wonderful journey for me, because I was not an overly talented rider. I didn't start with a fancy horse. I started with a little appendix quarter horse who would jump anything and had a heart as big as you can imagine, but he wasn't a big warm blood. And I asked my first instructor if she thought I could do this professionally. Now, we're talking many years ago, and she said, yeah, I think if you work really hard. So that's kind of been my motto, and I've worked my way up. I'm a senior dressage judge. I judge about 25, 28 dressage shows all over the country every year, and I'm the current chairperson of the USDF Freestyle Committee. Freestyle, riding to music, is one of my real passions, and spend a lot of time working on the committee. And I feel very fortunate every day to get up and teach people how to ride. I teach people of all ages. I have people from age 12 up to, I don't know, maybe 70. So it's a wonderful life, and it's so wonderful to work with people and affect their life in terms of their life with horses. I mean, horses have so much more of an impact than just learning how to ride. So it's a great life. I'm very fortunate every day.
Well, you know, when you get to do something for a career that you really love, you really don't work in a day in your life. You go out every day and you enjoy.
Yes, you do. And my father, who's passed away, had many years ago encouraged me to judge, because he was worried about me riding those horses. You know, he thought those horses were going to get me off for sure, and they did. But he kept saying, you know, I'd really like for you to do more judging. And one of my first judging jobs, it was pretty funny. I was somewhere in the middle of the country in a horse trailer, and it was pouring rain. And my father came to see, and he walked up and he said, "Oh, I had envisioned such a more glamorous life for you, and it didn't quite happen that way. But every time I'm in an area like this that is so beautiful, giving a presentation in front of so many people, or I'm judging on the coast of San Diego, I think of my father, and I think, okay, you'd be pleased now, because it is a wonderful career."
Yeah. Well, it is, and we were just talking before we started. I'm just an average horseman. I just ride. I trail ride. I have fun with my horses. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a great rider. I just have fun. But doing this with the broadcasting and announcing, I've met a lot of wonderful people. I've gone to a lot of neat things, including announcing at WAG at Lexington 4 years ago. And I'm working hard to get to Normandy. If I can just get some sponsorship, I can be there doing some coverage just like this.
Yeah.
But it's really amazing the number of people that I've met and gotten to work with just by being around the horses.
Well, the thing that's so nice about a venue like this is you get to reach out to people who haven't really been exposed to a lot of dressage training. Now, with the popularity of Western dressage, we have quite a bit more interest, and I do believe that's going to continue to grow. It's just getting started. It's taking little baby steps, but it's a logical fit for many people who perhaps have a horse that's maybe getting a little older, or they would like to not have to keep pushing for the bigger gates all of the time, and they'd like to enjoy their horse and have a goal. I have a couple of students who have decided to work on that, and they're really enjoying it. They have older horses, and they have horses that maybe don't want to work quite as hard, and the horses are very happy. And because of the dressage training, which only means training in French, dressage is not a complicated word, it means training, they have quite the advantage because their horses do engage and they step under, and they don't do a very slow jog. They do an engaged jog, and they don't do a 4-beat canter. And so the dressage judges, who judge the Western dressage still, are quite pleased with their performance. So I'm really happy we have some other options for some of my students.
Well, you know, and at these expos, and of course you're doing a clinic again today. I think 2 o'clock, I think, is your clinic today.
I think it's at 3.
At 3? But at these expos, you get a lot of chance to expose, you know, yourself to a lot of people that a lot of them are really into what you're doing. They're really, you know, very big fans of dressage and working toward the ultimate goals. But a lot of the people that are just trying to learn about it, like you said, cowboy dressage is coming on, and there's so many of the movements and things that they're doing they don't even know they're doing them, you know. But it all plays into dressage, which is kind of the father of all of this horse industry, you know, going back to the European schools, the masters in Europe, and actually even back into some war movements with horses before that, which is where it all kind of derived. But you know, we tend over in this country to get excited. We want to find the shortcuts. We always want to, what can I do to get there faster? And once you settle in with dressage, it's just a process that it takes so much time, you can't skip steps. And I think we're coming to grips with that more and more, that if I really want to accomplish something with my horse, I got to do it right.
Well, absolutely, and it takes a lifetime to learn this, and it's a little bit unfair in that when you feel like you're really getting it mentally, your body starts to suffer a bit, and most of us have back problems, let's face it.
Right.
And then when you feel like you're getting it mentally and your body's kind of hanging in there, then you start to forget things. So it's a challenge, but it's wonderful to see people of all ages. There's no question that you can be competitive in dressage for a very long time. And the thing that's so nice about it is that the dressage horses last the longest, they stay the soundest, because we take the time to really train them slowly, put the muscle on them. We want them to be happy athletes,
Right.
And we really work on that relationship end of it. I know that sometimes competitive dressage gets a bad rap, but if you see the current top riders in the world, the harmony is quite amazing. It's changing. The types of horses have changed. The quality has changed. The quality of horses in this country has come way up. So it's very exciting, because judging a horse that looks as if it's happy to do its job, regardless of the breed, is what really gives me satisfaction. It's quite wonderful. And one thing I wanted to say is that there is a big distinction. I'm sure you've talked about this already. The Western Dressage Association of America is right now the recognized USEF, or the United States Equestrian Federation affiliate. Cowboy Dressage is a separate entity that's very popular. I'm not passing a judgment either way, but there's only one recognized affiliate,
and
the Western Dressage Association of America. And right now, Western dressage is not allowed in recognized USEF shows, but it will be, I believe. Right now it's allowed in the breed shows, so it's very big in the Morgan shows, it's very big in the Arabian shows, Pinto, and it's going to spread out to the other breeds, but as of right now it's not in, you won't see any in open dressage, but I believe you will. It's just in the very beginning stages.
I have to mention this, a couple of weeks ago I was the announcer at the Rocky Mountain Expo in Denver. And during the main event at night, I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name, did a ride, Western Dressage. He kind of oversees that branch in Denver, or the western part of Western Dressage. I can't remember. He did a beautiful ride. I got it on camera. So when the highlights from the Rocky Mountain Horse Expo this spring in Denver come out, there's some highlights of a really wonderful ride. I can't remember his name.
Well, I can't either. We're having a moment.
But you know what? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. He and Francis Carbonell do Western Dressage clinics in the area, and I apologize if he hears.
So do I, because
I cannot remember his name either. But it'll come to me, of course, as soon as we're done.
What happens to me is I'll, like tonight in bed in the hotel room before I fly out tomorrow, I'll set up and go, there it is.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, Dolly, thanks for joining us here on Speaking of Horses. We've really appreciated it.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you. And I certainly have enjoyed the expo and getting to have some people see that dressage doesn't have to be confusing or complicated. I mean, it is complicated, but I think if it's explained in ways that the average person can understand, it starts to have a lot more appeal to the general audience. So I hope that I've been able to do that.